watch me and clap at the same time as me. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, clap. All right, you ready?
Wait, we clap on the 0?
Yeah, no, 3, 2, 1, clap.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. We both sucked. You fucking
yeah, we
sucked.
fucked that up.
Oh, Vanessa. We have Vanessa. Hey, Vanessa.
Hi.
I just decided last minute to call Vanessa because Steven is away on vacation. Steven's away with his family for a week. They are in, where are they? They're in Tennessee. They went to Dollywood, and they're in the middle of bumfuck Tennessee, and there's bears and there's all this stuff, and he was going to try and do this, but he's got family stuff because this is a family vacation, but he still wanted to do RAWtalk. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out for him to do RAWtalk.
So you called me because you know darn well I don't take vacations, right? That's what this is.
I called Vanessa, and so audio is going to be a little different this week because Vanessa is on her she's on her headphones. I'm here. Steven's going to still edit while away because hopefully it works. Anyway, hopefully it works. We're going to make it work, but whatever. Regardless, we're going to have good content because Vanessa's here. I'm here. And I was just telling her right before I hit record, and I'm like, I should just hit record because I should just tell you, I'm a little overwhelmed with my preparing to go away to shoot the Artemis 1 launch in Cape Canaveral, or whatever the hell they call it. And so for those who don't know, I was picked to be one of the social media people to go down to NASA. They do a thing, and we're going to get tours of the rocket. You know, hopefully we'll get to go out and see it. I hope it's not just let's sit around and listen to a bunch of nerds and engineers talk. I mean, as much as I like that, that's great, but I don't like. It's not that I don't care. I'm there for one reason, and that one reason is to get photos of the rocket launching. And because of that, I've gone ahead and complicated the matter by taking 3 cameras, and I have to get 3 tripods. And those are 3 cameras. I'm sorry. We'll let Vanessa talk in a minute. I know she's here.
It's okay. It's fine. I only have firsthand experience because I'm in New York City right now, and I brought 4 cameras here because I had 3-day long shoots, like full day shoots, and a bazillion lenses and lights and strobes and flash, and not that you know anything about that, but you know, it's a lot of gear.
Yeah, you're funny. I got 2 R3s. So one of the R3s is going to be on a 600 F4 going vertical. And that's the one I'm going to be shooting to track the rocket as it goes up past the clouds, past the tower. The other R3 is probably going to either have a 28-70 or a 70-200, depending on the distance, to get the wider shot with the trail, the smoke trail and everything going up. And that's going to be set to interval timer, where it's going to be shooting 1 frame a second until I tell it to stop. Because you can set it to infinite and it just keeps shooting. I think the way you stop it is by turning it off. So that's just for that launch part. It's just going to keep shooting. Then I have a Z9 Nikon with an 800-6.3. That is going to be shooting 8K 60 frames a second raw video. So that's going to be on a tripod with a good gimbal head. I bought the other gimbal head and tripod for the other R3. So those are the 3 cameras. Then there's an Insta360 1-inch for 360 footage that I'm going to use while I'm out there to show the rocket and just if we get up close and personal, but also to show.
This is a lot of gear for like watching a phallic symbol go into the air. You're really into this.
I'm not really into it. It has nothing to do with penises. First off, penises weren't even on my mind, Vanessa. And I know you're in New York City and maybe penis is on your mind, but it's certainly not on my mind. My mind is focused highly on a rocket going into space. This isn't Jeff Bezos's penis rocket that looks like a penis. This is the Artemis 1 that's going to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all into it. You know what it is? Anything having to do with like landscapes or national events. I just have no desire to take picture crap like that because 7,000 other people have already done it or will do it at the same time. And it's like, I can just Google a picture of that.
Nobody's done this rocket before because this rocket has never taken off. But
you know, you're one of how many? Like you could just Google it.
And steal someone else's image is what you're saying.
Well, no, look at it. I didn't say steal it.
No, but no one else has done it yet because it hasn't happened yet. Unless you think that the future has happened and we're coming back in time. But nobody's shot this launch.
Maybe it has.
Yeah, whatever.
Maybe it has.
This hasn't launched yet. This is the first attempt to launch. And I could be set up. I got to get there. They say 1:30 in the morning on Monday for the 8:33 launch. Because they're expecting like 1 million people or something. I don't know. Like, See, there's so many different things that just weigh on your head. Not only do I need to travel with the gear, so I need to travel a little different than normal because I've got a 600 f4 that I'm putting in a backpack with an R3 because I can't check the 600 f4. You just can't check it. It's a $14,000, maybe more lens. You can't check it. Then I've got
check any lenses,
an airport.
anything.
Exactly.
No,
an Airport Security 3.0. So that has the 800-6.3, that has the Z9, that has the two gimbal heads, which are like 400, 500, like $499 each for those gimbal heads. I don't want to check them. I'm going to check the tripods. I have to
check
the
fly?
American.
So can you pay for like priority boarding so you make sure you get overhead space?
Oh, I'm platinum on there.
Okay.
So
because that's huge. That's why I refuse to fly anything but United because I'm almost 1K there. And you have to get on first. Otherwise, your gear is screwed. You can be like, oh, so sorry, there's no space. And there always is extra space.
Oh, there's always space. I love it.
There's always space.
The bins are full completely. I'm like, oh, really? No, but I've always talked about that to everybody. Is you want to get on the plane as early as possible. And that's why you pay for extra. But I have platinum status. Part of having the credit card was to get me in at least zone 4. Now I'm to zone 3. There's never any zone 2s. And there's only a few platinum plus like zone 1s. And I may get upgraded to first class depending on the flight, but I'm also in an exit row. But regardless, I have to carry these on board. But this also means I don't have a backpack with laptop, right? I don't have my backpack for laptop because you can only have one roll-on and one personal item.
But you don't have. So tell me about the bags. So like what you couldn't fit your laptop.
The
in
airport
one of the
security
bags?
can go in the bag, yes. But I'm used to having my backpack, and my backpack has my food for the flights, and all the extra snacks. But anyway, I'll compromise. I'll probably put some clothes underneath the plane because I never check anything, but I got to check the tripods.
Something.
I got to check the tripods, which is fine. I have a padded bag, and then the tripods are in their own padded bag, and I'm going to put my shoulder bag in there, and I may put some clothes in there, and I'm actually going to check that for once. And Vanessa has shown me her absolutely big phallic bag that she's carrying.
This is what I just checked to get here. I actually had to check 2 bags because
no one can see this, Vanessa.
I know, but I'm talking to you.
Is that Manfrotto?
Yeah, it's a great bag.
Yeah, I would like that new one, but I actually have a Benro version of that bag, which is going to be good enough for this trip.
I didn't even know Benro made bags, but I guess specifically tripod bags.
It's specifically for a video tripod, but it doesn't have the tripod in it, so I'll be using it. Anyway, guys, welcome to RAWtalk episode 13. I'm Jared, and you are?
I'm Vanessa.
Vanessa's filling in for Steven. Oh, Joy. Happy. Vanessa is filling in last minute for Steven. When in doubt, call Vanessa. Don't call Manny Ortiz. Just don't call Manny Ortiz.
You called him first and he said no, didn't he? Am I second dibs?
Not at all.
I'm sloppy seconds right now.
Sloppy seconds, or did you say salty seconds?
Or both, apparently.
I don't know what salty seconds is. I've never heard that. Did you say sloppy?
Sloppy.
Oh, sloppy.
I don't know. Salty. I feel like that could be a phrase.
Can you say sloppy seconds again?
No. Why?
Steven, isolate sloppy seconds coming out of her mouth. That's a very Howard Stern thing. But no, I didn't call Manny. I love Manny. If I have questions. But for you,
Manny won't fight with you.
We have good banter. We have good banter. Yeah. We're not fighting over anything, Vanessa. Don't tell me my doorbell's ringing. My doorbell isn't ringing. Good. Yeah, so Steven's away, as I already said earlier. So this is episode 13. Had Vanessa fill in. Wanted to talk about my NASA trip. I have a couple of other things that I do want to talk about that Vanessa can definitely help with. And so to wrap up the NASA part, I will be rolling the airport security think tank with me. I will have my backpack with the 600 F4, and I guess I'll be somehow carrying or rolling the tripods on top of my airport security bag. But my laptop will go in the airport security front pouch. When they made the airport security version 3, they added a place for a laptop to go. So that will be on the outside. I just have to make sure no one smushes anything on top of it, because when you put it into the bin, it has to go in a specific way. Hopefully they don't give me any shit, because I'm assuming this bag is going to weigh at least 50 pounds. But again, it's all gear. If I need
not unless you're international. International, they'll weigh it, not domestic.
International sucks, but hopefully they upgrade me to first class. But even if they don't, I'm in seat 11F on an A321, and on American Airlines seat 3F does a. Are you going to sneeze? Is she going to sneeze?
I am. I've muted myself so you can blab away. You talk all about your exit row. I always sit bulkhead, but that screws me because then I need 2 overhead bin spaces.
Exactly. You get sloppy seconds in that one.
Yes, I do.
Will you just sneeze already?
I'm going to blow my nose. Keep talking. You always go on for at least 30 seconds, so I got time.
That's it. 30 seconds is all you get from me.
Now you're not going to talk, so I'll just...
All right, go ahead, mute. Go ahead, you mute,
Okay.
I'm talk. So bulkhead is a terrible place to sit when you have bags because you can't put anything underneath. Though it's not that terrible because you can put 2 bags up, though that also screws the other people who come in behind you. But that's okay because it's all about you on the airplane. And by you, I mean you, the photographer, are more important than some other random schmuck who wants to put their jacket up above. It pisses me off when they put like this little bag up above instead of putting it under their seat.
I can't stand people that don't have airport and airplane etiquette. It drives me up a wall because it's just common sense and it's the stuff that the gate agent is repeating to you over and over and over again.
Gate agents suck too. No, my favorite is when the overhead bin is closed because that's what you're supposed to do. When an overhead bin is full, you close it, and people are going around checking every overhead bin. I'm like, dude, it's closed for a reason. But not everybody flies for a living like you, Vanessa, and I. And so,
yeah, but it's also the other thing, like. Don't take off your shoes and put your bare feet on the armrest in front of you. That's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Yeah, the person sitting in front of you can see and probably smell your nasty foot. You're on a plane. You're not in your bedroom.
Is that okay in your bedroom, Vanessa?
Feet? Sure.
I'm not
but
into
not on
feet.
a plane.
Not on a plane. Okay, let's put that to rest. I will let you all know how it goes, but this is a lot of... 2 R3s, a Z9, 600 F4, 800 6.3, 70 to 200, 28 to 70, 11 to 24, 360 cameras. I need to add an extra tripod. I need to add that extra tripod still. And I made a note here
it's
earlier.
A lot. It is very stressful packing for trips with photo gear. It's too much. And you're always going to forget something. Hopefully not like your batteries or memory cards or chargers and things. But
batteries are there. I don't even know if I want to take chargers because I can technically charge the cameras from a USB-C device these days. But so what Nikon actually gets right is their charger is a single charger. It's not a double anymore, but it's also only this big. And by this big, I mean the size of a deck of cards these days. Because the Canon one is dual and it's fucking massive. So that takes up a lot more space. I may just put that in the check baggage, and if it gets broken, it gets broken.
That's what I do. I put all not the batteries. You can't do that. The battery chargers go in the check bag.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, that's out of the way. Let's talk about the air show I shot yesterday. So I went to the air show yesterday. I usually go to the Atlantic City Air Show to try and shoot some different stuff. And I was playing with some different things yesterday. And it was one of the worst air shows I've ever been to because there's like it is so bad because it's like how many times I don't need to see the Channel 10 news helicopter fly by or the AWACS looking thing. It's really, for me, it's about the fighter jets. I want to see the fucking really expensive, loud fighter jets go. So the thing started at 11:30. It actually didn't start till 11:50 because I think they had a bunch of shit drop out, probably mechanical issues. But not until 2:20 did we get a buzz over from the F-18 Hornet. And that's cool because it's an F-18 Hornet. But last year we had a Raptor. We had an F-22. But I think what happened is they're probably deployed somewhere this time around for war. And so we don't have an F-22 this time. Have you been to an air show?
I have. And I found it just as boring as the launch that I had because I could have just watched a YouTube video on it.
What launch are you talking about?
I don't know. I've gone to a launch at some point. Actually, no, I went to a launch and sat there for 5 hours and then they canceled the launch because, there was one cloud in the sky.
This is so first off, I'm hoping that this launch goes off fine. This is one of the largest rockets NASA's ever made. So this is the first attempt. If it blows up, then we get pictures of it. If it doesn't blow up, we get pictures of it. So, and video. Yeah, yes, other people are going to be able to take pictures, but part of it is I'm going to be there, so I'm going to take pictures and I'm going to do it. And will they look the same as others?
Exciting.
Will they look the same as others? Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to look the same as others because I know people that will be there, and I know a kid, he's setting up like 20 remotes. He may have 12 remotes going out. Well, because they're allowed to set them up close in and around. Now they put housings and stuff on them, and they're starting to set it up today, and the launch is Monday. So I think they'll be allowed to go change batteries. They'll be able to go put batteries in on probably Sunday night. at like 2 a.m. or something. Sorry, Monday morning, 2 a.m. because the launch is 8:35. It's going to be fucking hectic is all I got to tell you. Because the place they have us driving to, if there's that many people coming for a launch, I may just sleep in the parking lot. Seriously, I may be an asshole and leave myself in the car with all my gear.
If you do that, I'm making fun of you because I did that 2 weeks ago and told you, and you made fun of me.
The difference is...
Do you not remember this?
Vanessa, the difference is this is for a particular reason.
I had a reason.
I have to be on location at 1:30 a.m. So
I had to be at an airport at 4:30 a.m. and I finished a wedding at midnight.
Well, that's fine. Then you should have just sat in your car and that's fine.
I did. And you made fun of me.
Well, but I didn't know that you had a flight at 4 like a couple hours later.
Yeah.
You didn't specify that, Bangs.
Bangs.
I was looking at your bangs. Anyway, the air show was terrible. I did get recognized 21 times by people who came up to say something to me, and that we were keeping track. I had my friend Katie with me. She was in charge of
keeping track.
She was in charge of keeping track of how many people stopped me to say hi. And that doesn't count all the people that probably saw me that knew me but didn't say anything.
Do you like it when people come up to you?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I? I mean, it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm working, if I'm like fully working and doing a thing, a task, like I'm on a shoot and I'm doing something, please like wait till it's over. Or don't get upset when I'm just like, hey, and I give you the nod or something because I'm working. Like if it's during a concert and the concert's going on, I'm focused on shooting, right? If it's in between the air show and nothing's happening at the air show, come on over, say hi. I'll stand there, talk to you. We'll take selfies, whatever you want. We're cool. And so, yeah, just about everybody's cool when they come over.
At photo shows, you find it draining or kind of tough.
Look, you have to understand that at a photo show, it's going to happen. Just not at Create NYC because that show doesn't exist and it's postponed.
Exist. Yeah.
But no, I go to these events fully knowing what they're going to entail, and I have no problem being there with other people, meeting people. That's what it's all for. That's what you're there for. It's draining, yes, because you have to be up for so many hours and you have to be nice, and you have to say, you have to be gracious.
That one person that you're like, I'm flipping hungry. Can I cut this short? You're just forget it. Now you're the asshole.
I mean, I'm already an asshole, so that's fine. True. That's already fine. Anything? I mean, did you have anything? Oh, I've got something for you to talk about.
Okay.
Reels and shorts. Your takes on this right now, because we've been talking about it week after week, and I know that you've been doing really weird reels. I mean, I did like the one with you in the bathing suit. I did on the beach. I did like the one you dancing in between your car in a dress. Yeah, that's about it.
I mean, so they're different everywhere. TikTok, I think, that's kind of where it started. And TikTok is not as viral easy as it was. Like it was really easy to go viral when it first started during COVID. Now it's just a platform where most younger people hang out. Well, not even younger people anymore. But Instagram, I always say when it comes to Instagram posts, an actual post like your feed, that's your portfolio. That doesn't make you grow. You want to grow, you got to do reels. That's just the way the algorithm works. Your reels get pushed out to people who don't currently follow you for now. And then your feed, your regular posts only get pushed out to your own audience. So
if it gets pushed out to your own audience,
if
a lot of people are like, I never saw this post that you did that has 300 likes on it. Speaking
and then
of,
you go to shorts because you got to, talk about YouTube, right? And they want to do shorts because they wanted to get on the Reels bandwagon. And I find it crap, honestly. I hate posting shorts on YouTube. It does okay, but it never does as well as Instagram. And that's the only place where you lose subscribers, or at least for me, because I think at least my audience doesn't like to see vertical video.
Well, shorts, we had one that worked really well, the first one we did. Well, it wasn't technically the first one. It was the first real one where I wrote a script and did it with the YELLS breaking the bat with the Z9 shooting at 120 frames a second. That had almost 500,000 views and added 2,300 subscribers. It made $44, so it doesn't make any money. But the 2,300 subscribers is a big deal. Now, how many of those will convert to be customers, or not customers, but long-term viewers. That's the most important. But on the flip side, we've done a couple more really good ones that haven't done shit. And the last two we have done were like 8 or 10,000 after a couple days, and that's terrible. And what I'm thinking is happening, I think YouTube has shut the faucet off, as they should have. I'm done. I'm not going to be chasing TikToks, and I'm not going to be chasing Reels. I'm going to do them the way that I want to do them. I'm not going to try and make the content to beat an algorithm. I'm not going to play the game. I'm not going to do what you do personally. I don't want to do it. I'm going to do it. But you
shouldn't.
I just made a video, a 90-second video, because we do Reels for 90 seconds of what I'm taking with me to NASA, and I'll put that up, and that will do 60 to 100,000 views by itself, most likely, because it's gear, which is fine. It's not going to branch out of the ecosystem and get you 1 million views. So,
well, I haven't. I mean, maybe. Not mine. I don't know. You got to do what works for you. Some people's reach is just all on YouTube Shorts, and if it works, great. But you also have to like doing it. I mean, that's the thing with Instagram Reels. I started doing them because they made me laugh. I think it's funny. Some of it, anyway.
Some of it. Now, have you been hearing about Vero?
Yeah, I've heard things. I just every time I hear something new when it comes to social media, I want to vomit.
Yeah, so my notes here on Vero is I went to get on Vero, and it's like, you already have an account. And I'm like, wait a second, what? I think this app has been around for like 6 years. And when you go in to download it, it's talking about it's a phone app. It's for making calls and all the shit. And it's not really, and then you get it, and it is skewing towards photography. And then Peter McKinnon makes a video on why Instagram is dead or something, and it has like 900,000 views, and you look at how many followers Peter has on Vero now. He's got over 100,000 there. I'm not going to be getting on Vero. I do not give a shit about getting on Vero because I don't care about posting just photos on another app right now.
Yes, I remember that. I just looked it up on my phone, and I've downloaded it before. I remember this because it was social media without ads. That's why it was popular for like 6 seconds. Well, I don't know. It's been out for at least 3 years, I'm pretty sure.
It's been like 5 or 6. It's been like 5 years, because I remember when Instagram was making changes a while back, Zach Arias made a big deal. That's when it came out. Well, yeah, Zach Arias made a big deal about going on to another app. Like, I'm leaving Instagram, which was a huge mistake for him, because he had a really nice following there, to go onto an app that no one gives a shit about, right? And it's just, people might say, well, how do you give a shit? Like, after time, it's got to build. People have to be interested in it. You're not going to get the billion people that are on Instagram to leave Instagram regardless, because they don't care about photography. Most of the people that use it, they just don't. We do, because we're photographers, but it is what it is. I'm not getting on Vero. I don't give a fuck about playing with another system right now.
Well, it's just, and I hate to say this because it kind of goes against like what I do for a living, but it's like trying to fight Amazon. Like, Vero is not going to win over Instagram in the same way the mom and pop store down the street is not going to win over Amazon. Like, you just can't. You can't fight corporate giants like that, or what mass culture is doing right now. You can fight City Hall all you want, but good luck. The last time that worked, I think, was 1776 or something like that.
You're forgetting the Alamo?
On a large scale.
I mean, some might say January 6th. No, I'm just...
I said successful City Hall
exactly.
fighting.
So yeah, that's my take on the whole Vero thing. Is yes, Peter's pushing it, and it's so frustrating. Not from a upset at Peter point. The thing that I get frustrated the most about is that he's able to get 100,000 people to convert over. It just upsets me because I don't have that pull and I don't have that ability, and that's amazing that he does.
Also, yeah, he may have gotten 100,000 people to try it out, but I doubt they all stayed there. I doubt they're all opening up the app and checking it out. They probably just downloaded it because, he said to.
Well, good on them. That's good for him.
And then they go back to what everyone else is doing.
Yeah. So speaking of government, I wanted to talk about this with Steven because he had some discussions that could have been good, but the whole loan forgiveness thing that just
I will jump out this window if we talk about this. I
just got to go into it for a second.
What do you think?
So I've been not for loan forgiveness for a while. there's so many sides to this that it's super complicated.
I agree. I agree with that. I don't think it's black and white.
There's no one solution for this. My quick take, and it's not even going to be quick, is that what did I write here? I think my biggest takeaway today is that there's the kids that are, or people that are bitching that it wasn't enough. Like, it's never enough. Like, you need to get rid of all of my loans. My take on it is there's a lot of people who couldn't go to school. They couldn't go to college because they couldn't get a loan, or they couldn't afford it, or they had to go into the workforce to help their family out to pay. And yes, I'm talking about predominantly minorities and inner city people, black, white, Asian, doesn't matter color, race, or creed. There's people that are in the minority and that couldn't go to school. Now, I think it's a travesty that we've been sold a bill of goods for 100 years almost, not even 100 years, for the last 60 years, probably going back to the 50s and 60s, the baby boomers who were told, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. It's the only way you get by. Maybe in 1960, when you came out of school in 1970 and you worked the same IBM AT&T job for 40 years, hating the chair and the desk that you sat at, but you did, it doesn't matter as much now. And so to tell kids today or over the last 20 years that, fuck, that's me 20 years ago. Like, I graduated high school in 99. To say that, oh, hey, why don't you go take on $100 to $200 or more $1,000 in debt? Don't worry about it now. You'll get 6 months of grace period after you graduate to start paying it back when you get a better job. No, so you personally have a choice to go to school or not. You could go to trade school.
Not just go to school or not.
Go to an affordable school.
You need to go to affordable school. I went to community college and I lived at home. Like, I chose to do that, and I worked throughout the entire time I was in college. But even regardless of all of that, you can make 1,000 arguments. I just think it's putting a Band-Aid over like a broken femur. Like, it's just that the loan forgiveness is not the problem. The college system is the problem. And you can forgive loans all you want, but that's not going to stop the fact that you've got these colleges who, quite frankly, mostly have teachers who didn't make it anywhere else. And that's why they're teachers. Not fighting against, like, I used to be a teacher. I get it. But come on, like, you're not getting a real world education in so many vocations. If you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a doctor. Yeah, you got to go to college. You got to learn that stuff. Anything else, and you have YouTube University.
So Vanessa hit the nail on the head there. The larger issue is not the fact that you can get a loan or get forgiveness here, is that schools are overpriced. They're absolutely overpriced. You don't need...
They're putting a Band-Aid on the problem, but also while they're trying to fix it, they're teaching people to take money out with no consequence. And that's creating a very irresponsible mentality.
Vanessa's hitting all the... You didn't think I was going this direction, I know, but the bigger issue is that you shouldn't be spending $70,000 to go to school per year for some, what do they call that? Language arts or whatever, the basic, just taking up space and time. And the thing is, I listened to Ryan Holiday. He's a friend of mine, and I think he was on Joe Rogan, and he's like, isn't it interesting that at 18, they tell you that you can sign a document, right? Of all the things you can't do at 18. You can't rent a car. You can't get like a lot of different loans, right? You can't drink. You probably can't get a house loan. You can't get a business loan to start a business for $200,000 to $300,000 because they're like, you have nothing to prove. Yet you can take out a loan for hundreds of thousands of dollars just by signing, and it's a loan that's never forgivable. Right? Of all the loans that exist, you can't, this loan isn't forgiven. It actually is forgiven when you fucking die. That's when the loans are forgiven.
Great.
No,
it's
seriously.
not even forgivable like in bankruptcy. I had a friend of mine that actually filed for bankruptcy and still had $300,000 worth of loans because she went to school for physical therapy and she could never pass the stupid test. So literally $300,000 and she's not even a physical therapist.
That's her fault. And, if you can't pass the test. But Stephen, the reason I want to talk to Stephen is I'm pretty sure Stephen went to community college for a couple years before then going to like Rowan or something, which was more affordable. It was a city school, a state school for him. And that's the thing.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah.
These schools are overvalued. They overvalue their worth and their degree. You do not need these schools unless doctors and lawyers. The other thing I wanted to talk about is being that I was at the air show, there were a lot of service members there. A lot of people are forced into the Army at 18 because they couldn't get an education any other way. So they give their service for a certain amount of years. They risk their life, and they do that for their only chance to better themselves by getting a free education, which is to go into the service. So my issue right now is you have all these service people, and everybody knows where I stand. I'm left of center. I'm not far left. I'm not exactly in the middle. I'm left of center. That's where I feel that I am for common sense. But here are all these service people going because this is their opportunity to get an education, putting themselves in harm's way, and then you get all these fuckhead millennials and xennials bitching and moaning about getting a $10,000 or a $20,000 Pell Grant, but saying it's not enough. You're getting free fucking money, and that's the problem. Is that a lot of the people who couldn't go to school, not only do they not get a free forgiveness of a lot of money, they don't even get the education. And so it's a complicated matter. My answer to the whole thing is I hope that we one day figure out, not to sit here and to say Bernie Sanders is the solution, because he's not the solution for everything, but healthcare and education are the most important things we need to focus on. And those are the things that make for a better country. So
yeah, I agree with that. I think nobody has the best answer yet, but
something.
In the meantime, stop giving the middle finger to the rest of us who stayed at home and didn't party for 4 years, went to community college, and worked our ass off through it. I saw this guy, an Instagram reel, because that's what we see these days, just talking about how, my friend's daughter's loan got forgiven, but he makes more money than I do. But I decided to not, take vacations. I decided to save my money while he was taking vacations and buying Ferraris. And that loan gets forgiven. Meanwhile, I paid off the student loan because I was responsible and did that for my daughter. And it's giving me the middle finger of people who work and sacrifice, anybody who's worked and sacrificed.
Yes, it's a complicated issue. It's a complicated matter. And I think Vanessa may have frozen. Are you still there, Vanessa? No, she's not.
There you go.
There you go. You froze for a minute. This is
so did you. I'm taking my video off.
All right. Oh, what is that? Yeah, I'll let that one go.
Taking the video off.
I know.
So that, the connection is cleaner.
Do you want me to take my video off?
Where was I bitching?
Would you like me to take my video off?
Maybe it'll help.
All right, hold on. What is that symbol? What is this symbol on the side here? Meeting information. I never saw that. Let me turn my video off. Stop video. All right, I stopped my video. Maybe that will help you out. But so I like looking at you just because it's easier to read your face and all of that. But this is a complicated.
I was just yelling.
Which is fine. This is it's because you were surprised that I was going to go this direction. But this is super complicated. I think that the answer is you don't need school for everything. If you're going to be a doctor or fuck lawyers, if you're going to be a doctor, because unless you're a civil lawyer going into a different, you're going to help people out, then I don't see forgiveness. But in terms of doctors, let's say you go to a 4-year school to become a doctor. If you can give 5 years, you be placed somewhere for 5 years and give back service, then they will forgive your loans. That is.
There's plenty of community service things that can be done in life here.
Yes.
Not everything has to just be free. You can give back somehow.
Right. And so that's why I keep saying this is a complicated matter. And I was lucky. I didn't have a lot of student loans. I think it was $20,000 to go to Antonelli. So it wasn't a shit ton of money. My dad paid a bunch of it and then I paid off the rest of it. But that was my choice, right?
Yeah.
To go to a smaller school. And everybody else had a choice. You don't have to go to Duke and you don't have to go to Penn State. You don't have to drop $40,000 and $50,000 a year.
You don't have to go out of state where it's automatically more expensive.
Unless you can afford to pay for it.
Commute.
Unless you can pay for it. If you can afford it, then pay it off.
No, we get to pay it instead because that's where federal money comes from, our wallets.
It does. I mean, I took the PPP loan when it came out.
Yeah.
that was free
But
money.
that went to our employees though.
Well, it did, but it's money that didn't have to come out of my pocket, and it was tax exempt.
That part was nice.
I mean, I talked about it with my accountant. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable taking this. I think we're okay as a business. He's like, I'm taking it. He's like, you pay a shit ton in taxes. They're offering it. Everybody else is going to take it. You don't know that your business is going to be totally okay. I took the first round. I didn't apply for the second round because it turned out we were okay.
Yeah, same.
But anyway, next up, I've got this thing to talk about. My note says, people contacting me to quote unquote partner with them through emails all the time.
Oh, dear God.
And the problem is
probably 6 a day. You must get, 50 a day?
I don't get that many. I get a lot. A lot come from China. I just delete. But the problem is a lot of them are form emails. And they're things like they don't know my content. They don't. Actually, they just say some stupid. Can I read? I want to read you this one. I'm not going to say who it's from. I'm not going to say who it's.
But is it from the one that CC'd me and you and the Northrops and who was the one that didn't even bother to blind CC and all of us are on the email?
Oh, I have no idea.
Come on.
I didn't see that one. But this is what this email says. And I'm not gonna tell you who it is because I don't I don't want to
trying to bash.
I don't want to throw I mean I love the bash. I'm just gonna bitch. Let's see. Hey Jared, thanks for getting back to me. Oh, I told them about something. I told them about my Gear Vault because they were wanted to do some partnership. Like, how did you see this partnership? Because we don't have ads in our app. Would love to hear what you had in mind. I was mentioning, hey, I'm probably not interested in this, but maybe you could acquire my Gear Vault because you have all these users that you say you have. Anyway, basically, our goal is to create an ever-expanding feed of tips. Okay, let me take one step back. They contact me, cold call, cold email that comes in, and they're looking for something for their app, and they want to incorporate me into it. So I always ask some questions. Who's calling me? My dad's calling me, and I usually interrupt the podcast. Hey, Dad, I'm on the podcast and we're making podcasts. Can I call you back?
Sure.
All right.
What's the subject today?
Everything. Loan forgiveness.
Anything and everything.
He's asking what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Have fun.
Bye. No, he does that. He's like, okay, sorry. What are you talking about? He's like, oh, I'll go. This is that's his thing. He's like, he calls, and I'm like, Dad, filming the podcast. The reason I pick up is anybody who's been around for my podcast, RAWtalk, in the past knows that when my dad called, we would pick it up on the show, and the same thing would happen. He would I tell him we're busy, and then he'd be like, yeah, no problem. Anyway, so what are you doing? So these emails come in, and I always reply because I want to see if they're human. I want to ask some basic questions. So I said something about my Gear Vault, and then I said, give me some more information about what you're looking for. And so it says, basically, our goal is to create an ever-expanding feed of tips, tricks, and tutorials for photographers, basically fucking YouTube, which will be updated on a daily basis, basically Reels, Shorts, and TikToks. So for this to happen, we need as many videos as possible. My hope is that you could create somewhere around 10 to 15 videos a month for us. The videos should be bite-sized, around 1 to 2 minutes, talking about one specific subject and having your character in it.
Wait a minute. I think I did the videos for this email. Can we bleep out so you can tell me who it is?
In a minute. It should. Okay. Well, no, because if Steven can't edit this, I don't want to leave it in there. All right, in a minute. Okay. It should be somewhere between a TikTok video and a YouTube tutorial. We have a budget of. You probably didn't do this. We have a budget of $140 per video, and as I said, we intend to.
It was the same one.
What?
Go ahead. Keep going.
You didn't do this, did you?
I don't know. You have to text me who it is.
Dude, if you did this, you're in trouble. $140 per video. And as I said, we intend to create around 10 to 15 videos a month. So it would be a constant monthly stream of $1,400 to $2,100. Oh, good. $24,000 to do all this work for you for a year, you fucks. Also, being featured in blank, I almost read it. Learn feed will help position you as an authority figure in the world of photography. As for examples,
you do need that positioning. Jeremy.
It could be something like this, and they listen. But ultimately, we want them to have more depth Around 2 minutes. Oh, you think there's depth in 2 minutes of video? I can teach people photography?
I swear this is the exact same one. And
who's watching could really understand the tips. Anyway, so my reply back to stuff like this is, oh, if you like my content, what's your favorite video of mine? And so of course they reply back and they're like, oh, well, I like your content. Why are you asking that? And I'm like, I'm asking that because you sent me a form email, clearly. You also said, and this is going to come across as pretentious, but it's fucking true. You also said that it will set me up as an authority in the field. I am the authority in the field. I am the one who knocks, okay? That's not misstatement. That's not bullshit. It's the fucking truth. Take it for what it is. Like, I'm already an authority in the field. People come to me regardless of liking me or hating me to see what my reviews are going to be, whether they like it or not. I'm going to text it to you. Let me text it to you.
I got it up. And exactly how mad will you be if I did it?
Extremely. I'll probably hang up on you right now. I just texted you. If you did this, I
did.
You did this?
Yes.
Why? Well, let me guess. You took old content that you already had made and gave it to them.
No, I did simple talking head stuff, and it took me maybe 2 hours to do 10 videos.
But at that price?
Well, it's kind of like Reels. Like, it wasn't it wasn't complicated. There was nothing to really edit. But Vanessa, what happened was, I have to finish telling you. So they were saying like, oh, it's just like super simple, a minute and 30 seconds of like you just talking and teaching something and show a picture and talk about it. But then as I did it, they're like, oh, can you edit this and edit this? And I was like, so no, and we're going to leave it as is. And I'm not going to make any more for you.
Exactly. So I, who have been around longer than Vanessa in this world, was never going to even attempt to do this bullshit because I don't want to be a part of this app. Offering $140 per video is garbage.
I made them give me more than that, but
right. Well, I don't want to do their work. I'd rather do work for me and have my videos. No one cares. No one's going to go into this feed. They're going to go to YouTube and to try to tell people that you can simply dumb down videos to 1 to 2 minutes to teach people shit is bullshit. That's why there was a channel that shot to 1 million million subscribers on YouTube a bunch of years ago, and they now get 0 views because their whole thing was, we make bite-sized content because you don't have a lot of time to watch. Yeah, good. You could do the most cursory basic bullshit in 1 to 2 minutes or 3 or 4 minutes, but you're not going to actually teach and educate people. And that's why I make videos that are sometimes 20 minutes to an hour long, because that's just what it takes. And I'm not going to fucking change.
Did you look at like their social
their feed?
And
no,
they're all that? Yeah. So no. I did. And that was what convinced me, because not for nothing, you have 1 million followers. I've got 70,000. So
you're not going to get anything off of this.
I could use.
You're not getting anything off of it. That's not how it works.
I don't know that. But my point was, for 2 hours of my time for $1,500, okay, let me just try it once.
You just sold yourself to the. Do you want how many? What? How much time do I get for $1,500?
60 seconds, Jared.
That's it?
I'm invoicing you after this.
I didn't mean for that.
There's a PETA tax.
You just hoard yourself out for $1,500, basically.
I don't think so. I think it's easy content that isn't going to take. Like, I look at it, how many hours, and not for nothing, but I've actually yelled at you over your technical hourly rate over your mentorship calls, because I think you're hoarding yourself out for those.
That's because I want to give people value, and I can trade things by making more money elsewhere and then giving people a break who, charging $250 for 45 minutes. Yes, my hourly rate is a hell of a lot higher than that, but I like to give back and help people one-on-one, and I make more money elsewhere. So it's okay that I do this time and do that. I would never do this for this app ever. I can't believe you did it. And I'm glad we read this and found out that you did do it. But to anybody else out there, I get it that you want to get more views from people, but it's not going to work. No one's going to be in their feed watching this shit. I can guarantee it.
Maybe not, but maybe. And you never know. And sometimes you do take risks when it comes to marketing. I mean, I do marketing for my photography business that I pay money to try to get in front of people, and I have no guarantee it's actually going to work. So I look at this and say, okay, well, you're paying me to potentially get in front of people. That sounds like great marketing that I don't even have to pay for.
Right. And my take on the flip side is I felt more disrespected straight off the rip that they write you a form email and don't know your content.
So you're saying all of this started because they didn't know who the fro was?
Well, I was trying to ascertain whether they did or didn't. No, for real. No. Like, I don't like when I get people... Look, before I contact someone, I do research into who they are. I like to know who they are. I like to say something so they understand that I know them. I don't just send a form email. You know how I knew it was a form email? Because their sign off was a different color text than the copy and paste that they put above it, right? And so, but just, I get it. Some parts could be form, but if you're going to say something, be like, hey man, we love your content. Here's a piece of video that we love that we think would be perfect in our app, then we would like to make more of. I found this, and this on your channel. We love this. Could you do more of this? That's what you do. You don't half-ass it. And I can't believe you did it.
I really don't think it was all that bad.
That's because it's not going to go anywhere.
Well, we'll find out. Maybe I'll be famous.
Almost. Maybe if you make another spoof video about me, you'll get more views.
Maybe. I've got a lot more ammo now.
What? Like why?
Why? Because I know you better. You know, I got lots of things.
Oh, to make fun of me.
You for. Yeah.
I already make fun of myself, so I'd love to hear what you come up with, Vanessa. Why don't you come down here? You can write a script, use the teleprompter, which would be much easier than the way it would be much easier than the way you attempted to do it last time. I was someone who said I don't do scripts. Yeah, I was someone who said I don't do scripts, and then when I started to do Photo News Fix, Jesus, man, it takes me 12 minutes to record Photo News Fix. Verse, like when Steven and I sat here behind me to make a plug for something, it took me 5 times as long to get it right by just spitting it off my head instead of taking the couple of seconds to write down the sentences and then put it on the teleprompter. It's just so much easier for certain things.
It can be.
Yeah, it can be. It can be.
I personally I feel like it wastes time. Well, I don't wing it. I have it in my head. And if I screw up like once, it's, not the end of the world.
Yeah. So I like to hit words. I've learned that there's certain words, things that I want to hit and make sure I get right. You know that most of my stuff isn't scripted, but when it comes to making scripted videos, it's succinct, man. Right to the point. You get everything across the way it needs to get across. Anyway, what's new with you? What's coming up? Anything going to happen? Anything you want to talk about?
Not really. I'm just, I'm working like a dog. I'm sort of shifting gears, and I mean, I'm still doing weddings, but I want to not be the 50-year-old cranky wedding photographer who can't relate to, her couple. So I just did a high-end hotel shoot yesterday, and I'm shooting for Hilton now, their grand vacation resort.
Oh, where's that at? Can I assist?
They're all over.
I know. Can I assist?
If you want to.
I'm a good assistant.
I pay $800 a day for an assistant, but you need to know how to tether.
I can fucking tether. I just called Digi Richie.
Keep my tether going.
Oh, yeah, but hey Richie, give me an education on tethering. It's not that hard. I can do it. I'm a really good assistant too. Okay,
I will consider you.
But my rate is much higher than $800 a day. $800 a day is not bad for an assistant. That's very good. Plus travel and all that and stay. That's a very really good rate.
It's rough assisting, and it's also not like like I usually pay hourly when it comes to weddings because they're set hours. But for these type of hotel shoots, we start at sunrise to get good lighting areas because it's pretty much natural light at the resorts and getting the whole thing. And then you kind of shoot all day long except during noonday sun because it's disgusting. And then you go eat and then you shoot through sunset.
It's too much work.
It's a lot of time. It is a lot of work. But so are weddings.
Well, I know. I remember someone yelling at me about working in the industry and all that stuff. But yeah, no, I hear you. Don't want to shoot weddings anymore, even though it's good money.
It is good money. You have to know how to do it right, though. I see a lot of wedding photographers I don't know. I guess they're just creatives more than they're business owners. And you could do that. You could be a creative photographer all day long, but, it doesn't always necessarily pay the bills unless you're running a business correctly. And I think it's just a thing with wedding photographers, too. or maybe just the past couple of years, because all the wedding photographers got this huge influx of weddings because of COVID reschedules. And it just showed like who knew how to run a business and who did not. And
do you know what
people
upsets
who
me
couldn't handle workflow? What?
About wedding photographers? The ones that don't have the proper gear, especially when they're charging $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a wedding, and you're like, why are you using a 5D Mark III? Why are you shooting at 8,000 ISO? And this isn't like gear, like all people will always yell at me and say, well, gear doesn't matter. When you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year off of shooting weddings, you should have the best glass and the latest bodies. You should have R5s. Like if you're shooting Canon, or maybe even an R3 or even R6s of just the modern tech and the proper glass and the new glass. Not saying you need to update it all the time, but in this day and age, when you have all of that available, because I've seen some wedding photos recently where you look and you're like, wait, how are you shooting in broad daylight at 8,000 ISO? Why are you not paying attention to your settings? Why does this look like shit? And then you look at the settings and you're like, oh, well, that's why. That explains why you're so bad. And just like older gear, when you're like, come on, man, really, this is your job.
That goes back to not being able to run a business or figure out budget, because honestly, $5,000, depending on where you live, is not a good rate for a wedding photographer. If you are charging $5,000 to shoot a wedding, let's just say there's a small album that comes in it, there's a second photographer. I mean, you're probably looking at keeping let's just say half of that. And $2,500, and I'm saying like after taxes and, you know, all the stuff, running a business and all that. Let's just say you take home $2,500, and you don't work every single weekend. That's barely enough to be like, you know, kind of. Yeah,
you should be making educational videos for this app for $1,500. I can't believe you. Wait. They offered you $140 a video, so instead you took $150. Unbelievable. I can't believe you. I can't believe you took that. I can't believe I read this and I'm ranting on it and you actually took it. I can't believe you took it.
And there are so many people that are probably listening to this podcast. Like, I would take $10 a video because that's where I am in my life.
That's OnlyFans. You could go on OnlyFans.
No, because on OnlyFans you make a lot more money, I hear.
Yeah, I could do it.
One makes more money, not me. One.
Who makes more money?
One, like, you know, the third person, the non-specific human.
Oh, you're not talking about your OnlyFans that's secret that I have a link to.
You shut up. You wish I had an OnlyFans.
I mean, you technically already have a video out that's very OnlyFans-esque. That is the yoga with Vanessa Joy video. Woo!
I'm clothed. How is that OnlyFans-esque?
Because you're wearing yoga pants.
You know, if you can't handle yoga pants, like, this sounds like a personal problem.
I love yoga pants. I sit at La Colombe I got a seat that I sit at, because it's the seat that I always sit at. And it's like on a Saturday or a Sunday morning, it's yoga pants central. And it's like, oh.
I'm sure it is.
Guys and girls, equal opportunity here. Yeah, you got guys with yoga pants, you got girls with yoga pants, and they stand there waiting for their coffee, and I'm reading a book. I'm reading Anne Frank right now, so I'm looking at yoga pants and reading Anne Frank. It's a tough little mixture right there. Tough little mixture. I can't see your reaction because we don't have video on.
Well, because I'm kind of like, you know, just tell me more about how I can't walk into a La Colombe after my yoga class because somebody reading a book is actually peering over it and staring at my ass.
You mean objectifying you? No, it's not objectifying. I look at people. I see people. You know, like I see dead people, but in this case, I see people with yoga pants on. It's just, what am I supposed to do? It's like when you're at the beach.
Read your book.
I get distracted by asses, okay? What do you want me to, I just dare. Does that make you happy, Vanessa?
All asses, or do you discriminate?
No, I mean, I see the other asses and I'm like, meh. You know, this guy, I see his ass. I'm like, I mean, that guy's got a great ass. My ass is nicer than his ass, but still.
You are obsessed with your ass.
I'm not obsessed with my ass. Other people tell me about my ass.
That's because you dress up in tights and skirts.
Tights and skirts? What are you talking about? Have you been looking at my OnlyFans?
Probably. See, you admitted it. You admit you have one.
Yeah, and?
Don't you remember that video that you made? I think you were in like a skirt and making fun of the Adorama credit card or something along those lines.
No, first off, the skirt thing was about 8 years ago.
Is that when? I don't know.
No, that
YouTube
was part of...
has no time.
Yeah, that's on there. It's me wearing that skirt. And yes, I was about 150 pounds there. I'm 30 pounds more muscular now. That ass in those. So I've put that up on Instagram where I've just put up the Insta story of just a tight screen grab of the ass. And people liked it. And then after I put up the full body, and then I lose like 400 people, which is awesome. I think that is the best. That they fell for my ass thinking it was hot, and then I put up a picture of me in the dress, and then they have to unsubscribe because they thought my ass was hot.
I mean, that's kind of funny.
Right. I like trolling. It's fun. I like trolling like that.
Well, you know what? We get trolled so much, we got to be able to dish it back every once in a while. I love when I get nasty comments, and then, I tend to say things that are a little bit, I don't know. What do you say? Well, fine. Well, because I'm a girl. Yeah, of course, it's a little bitchy, but a little bit come at you because you're going to come on my page and be like that. Yeah.
I know. I've read some of your comments.
I usually just say something like snarky and like, "Oh, you're so cute."
Oh God, that's
angry
frustrating.
Like that.
Oh my God.
It is frustrating, and I know damn well it's infuriating to them because it's just very belittling.
Yeah, well, it works both ways. I've taken the approach of, I'm not really taking the approach of, because on YouTube, yes, I comment back on occasion, but there's been a lot of things going on the back end over here when I get messages or people pissed at something that I know, and it's just like, they just keep hammering away, and I just keep being quiet. The problem is at some point, I will fucking bury someone verbally, not figuratively, sorry, not literally, but figuratively. I will bury someone because there's only so much I will take. And then at some point I will just tell you to fuck right the fuck off. And I will come up with something that I know will damage you, but I don't want to damage someone. Like, that's it. I don't hate people and I don't want to say these things, but sometimes people can hammer you for weeks and months at a time and you ignore because that's the best thing to do. And then sometime it's just time to react and put people in their place. And it's like, fuck right off.
Well, I think it's appropriate because if they're coming at you, you can't dish it out if you can't take it. So. Oh,
yes, I know. I've been one who's always, my dad's always been that person. We as a family are able to take a lot of heat because we've been officials in sports, in baseball, hockey, and basketball at all different levels, and we know how to take it. So there's that. Anything else you want to wrap up with? I can't believe you did that job. Anything else?
Well, how about you answer a job? Tell us a job that you did that may be embarrassing now that you look at it.
A photo job?
I don't know. Any job.
Any job?
You get to, attack me for, doing something that I thought would be a good experiment or let's see how it is.
Yeah, so, I would have never given them the content.
Okay, so even the playing field, because, I'm sure you're not innocent, even though you're throwing the first stone over there.
I throw plenty of stones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not embarrassed by any of the jobs that I've done because I've done them, but in the photo realm, trying to think of something like this that you've done. Well, I went down the path with another company that wanted me to put something together for them, and it just felt wrong. Like they were offering some money, but it wasn't great. And then they try to tell you that this person is doing really well. They're selling 100,000 downloads. And then you realize that what they're selling it at is like $9 and it's all, they're like, it's 300% off. And you're like, yeah, is it ever going to be that other price? They're like, well, no, it has to come out at this price and this price only. I'm like, I'm not going to devalue it. I'm not going to give you all this information and just get paid X. Like it doesn't make sense. So basically I get back to my gut after going down and entertaining an idea like you did, thinking that it might benefit me. It usually gets to the point where I'm like, you know what? My gut's telling me this is not right. and I'm right all along in my thinking that I'm just trying to do this because I think it's going to have this outcome, but in all reality, it's not worth the aggravation, and I think it's a mistake to do. And so sometimes when gigs come along at that $1,500, it's not worth the aggravation, which you already went through, where they came back and were like, well, can you do this? And can you do this? See, they wanted more. They wanted full-on polished pieces of content for $140 a video. And you gave them what they asked for, which was just talking head video.
I gave them video. It wasn't polished. I recorded it on, a very easy device, and it wasn't polished.
You did it on an iPhone? iPhone?
Yeah.
No? Yes?
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
You're not allowed to talk about what you recorded it on?
No.
Is it an NDA thing?
I'm sure they didn't want me to have recorded it on that device, but I did.
Yeah, okay, this doesn't make any sense because I know what their app is, but whatever. I don't care. I can't believe you did it nonetheless. And
you still haven't told me any job that you wish you hadn't done.
It was because I can't think of any right off. No, I'm not perfect. I can't think of any right now that I should. There's been stuff in the past where I've done it. Okay, here's one that really pissed me off, and this was in the internet marketing world, because I was for a while doing a bunch of different shoots, going to these internet marketing events, getting paid to take their photos. So someone met me at one of these events, and then they were like, "Can we hire you to come and shoot our event?" And this is an event that it was. I think they were called MLS. No, the MLS is
that's the real estate.
The real estate people. I forget what they were called, but I realized real fast that it was an MLM. It was basically a multi-level marketing scheme.
Yeah.
But I was taking their money to do it, and this was one event, and I never went and did their event again because I realized that they were fucking scamming people. But then it got even worse because another person hired me after that to go out to Vegas, and it was off the strip at Vegas, and they kept people in the room from like 8 a.m. to like 6 p.m. Talk about indoctrination.
Ew.
Yeah, no, because they knew what they were doing. They were scamming people. So basically they get people in, they pay money, they bring in some other internet marketing people to talk and try to show these people how they can be successful. And this one guy stands up there at the front of the room, and he's talking all this stuff. He's got his, everything that he said was basically a lie, because I remember him standing there and being like, I lost all my thumb drive went bad on the flight over. So now so I had to stay up all night to rewrite the entire presentation. Basically what he was doing there was trying to get people to feel that he's a human and to empathize with him that something bad happened and he figured out a solution. And these people are sitting in this room. Well, it gets even worse because they literally on the last day, they built these wooden bridges, like arches. Yes, like these arches. And, there were like leaders, and then there were sub leaders that get training, and then they go and they lead these other groups. Well, they split everybody off into groups, and what they had to do was climb over this archway and then break a board on the other end. That's basically them telling negativity to go away and break through whatever issues they're having. And while they're going across the archway, their peers are screaming negative things at them. And you're listening to what these people are saying, and you're like, holy shit, they are really buying into this bullshit. And then at the very, very end, they're like, you've taken 1.0. Now 2.0 is $20,000 to take it to the next step to go even further. And I was in the back room with the people that were working who were getting ready to take orders for books and shit. And I said something to all of them. I'm like, are you guys kidding me? I'm like, this is a scam. I'm like, how are you even doing this? How do you think that this is okay? And the woman that hired me was like, this is the business. I'm like, this is a scam. I'm like, you guys are scamming people. I'm not going to be a part of this. I'm done. And I fucking left. It was just, really? I don't want your money. You're scamming people. And then years later, I said something to the one guy who was a part of it. And I'm like, dude, remember this thing you were a part of? that was a scam. I can't believe you were a part of it. What happened to this other guy? They're like, oh, no one's heard from him. It turned out it was like bad. I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
and I just wanted you to know that I fucking know, because I ran into the guy and he didn't say anything to me. I said hi to him. This wasn't the guy running it, but this was like a co-runner of this. I'm like, how could you do this? I'm like, how could you not see through this bullshit? So anyway, I wasn't embarrassed.
Okay.
I wasn't embarrassed. That's not embarrassing. I was taking money, but then when I realized what was happening, I called bullshit on all the people working there. I didn't give a fuck that I wasn't going to get hired by them again. They were literally scamming people. It was a big scam. It was a fucking scam.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible because they're talking to all these people that are down on their luck. Some of them didn't have a lot of money, because I talked to some of these people. They're like, and they would raise their head like, I spent my last amount of money to get here to make a change in my life, and then everybody claps to make them feel better, and now they feel a part of something. So they feel
some people like really need that though. I'm just saying.
It's a scam.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying some people like really need that.
All right. Vanessa, I appreciate you filling in last minute for Steven. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you. I will try. So guys, that's Vanessa. This is me, episode number 13. Hopefully Steven is back next week. I can hopefully fill you in on how my shoot went in NASA and see how all the cameras reacted, because I actually have to get to packing the rest of the stuff before I go play pickleball today, because I want to go play pickleball.
Pickleball is sweeping the nation.
Yeah, well, I enjoy playing. I really do enjoy playing doubles or singles. I don't care. It's just fun. I enjoy it. I like exercise. I like competitive stuff, and it's fun to hit the ball. I mean, I get pissed off at myself when I fucking fuck up a shot, but it's still I love it. Like, my brother and I compete heavily against each other. We're the only competition we've had so far, except for I just last week played for the first time with other people other than my brother, was ourselves, and we're actually not bad. We're much better than the people that have been playing for a little that have never played tennis. I'm not as good as the people up at the top by any stretch, but I'm not near the people who are just beginners. Like, for only playing for a month and a half, my brother and I are super competent at the sport. Okay, Vanessa, I'm going to sign off. You hang on, because we're gonna talk even after. We're going to go after hours.
You're going to yell
talk.
at me some more. I got to go do a shoot.
I'm not going to yell at you. But we're going to sign off, and we're going to talk. So thank you for coming on, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget, new episodes come out every Friday, and that's it. Steven hopefully is back next week. Jared, PolinPhotos.com. Bye-bye. See ya.